What's up, waves? Welcome back to Melina, the podcast where we take you down the yellow brick road of anime and have a look at everything it has to offer. As always, I am your host, Shaun, Notorious, and joining me once again today is Shaun.
Hello.
No Melina once again, because today we're here to cover the last 5 episodes of Dandadan, episodes 7 through 12. You can go and check the last episode where we covered that for like the details, and there's a link in the description for like further episode specific details. If I sound odd, it's because I'm just getting over losing my voice. So it's back, but it's still just a little bit not fully there yet. So if I sound weird, if my laugh doesn't sound right, if I suddenly just cut out while talking, it's probably because my voice is still a little recovering. But other than that, I'm all good. Don't worry. But yeah, it might sound weird.
If it's any consolation, you sound completely fine to me.
Yeah, there's still some stuff. Like, my voice still has a habit of giving out when I'm laughing and stuff, so...
okay.
But yeah, so, the last half of... Also, I'm on a new microphone, but I don't think people will be able to tell that.
Maybe. You might be able to notice if they're, like, audio files.
Maybe,
got any listening in?
If you're listening on the... the YouTube version where it's slightly higher quality. Anyway, yeah, Dandadan. We covered the first 7 episodes back about a month ago. Actually, for us, it's almost a month as well, actually.
Yeah.
And now we're here for the last part where it just sort of stops.
I didn't expect it to just sort of stop right at the beginning of another arc.
Yeah, they clearly got like maybe 2 or 3 chapters in an arc and just stopped.
Yeah.
Which I guess, you know, if you've got like a 12 episode slot, because it's generally unheard of to find less unless you're doing something like Oshinoko where it had like a 90-minute premiere, so that kind of took up an extra slot. So it was still 12 episodes in the slot lineup, but it was 11 episodes. And like long-standing series might get something like that, like one part of Attack on Titan was 16 episodes, but like less is very rare. So I guess they were stuck, but at the same time, could they have not just like, I don't know, padded some stuff out a little bit to not...
Yeah.
Like if it ended with Gigi showing up, and then, you know, that's it. Wait for season 2. I think that would have been okay.
Yeah, like, just end it with, hello, I am Rocket Engine Valve, as it would have been fun.
Yeah. But no, we get...
That as like the grip.
Yeah. Or they maybe could have done some, like, extra stuff with the mannequins just to fill out time. As like a way of ending it, and then like the setup for season 2 is them discussing like going to like his house for the whole exorcism thing, I guess. But yeah, it's weird the way they have ended it where there's 2 plot lines going on. We end with the zoom in to the hole in the house, but also at the same time, Momo is in another situation.
And yet another really uncomfortable situation. God, I feel so sorry for her.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah, man, there were a lot of them.
There were
a lot, man.
Yeah.
There was too much, man.
Gators?
Yeah, gators. Never heard that before.
No, I've
Could
never
have gone my whole life not learning that.
Yeah. So yeah. Overall, you know, it was fun. Again,
I
like
enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to watching more when season 2 comes out around July.
I believe July's the current date that's floating around, because that's sort of around the beginning of the summer season, so that would make sense. I'm kind of torn on whether I want to go read like the manga as well. because like July's a while away. There's part of me that's like, I don't want to leave it on a cliffhanger like that. But I guess I could wait, because it's not like there's a lot of story build up that it's stopped in the middle of. Like, I could fully just set it out. I like the little Godzilla nod reference ripoff that they did.
I thought they were going to go more into it, but that Nessie doesn't show up in that story as much as I thought it would.
It is very much a nod to Shin Godzilla, because it does the same build up to the atomic breath as Shin Godzilla does in that movie, but also like it being a kind of, what do they call it, a Plesiodon or Plesiodor, or...
My first thought was like the Godzillasaurus from one of the movies from like, I don't know if it was like the end of the Shinto era or not Shinto. What was the first era called again?
Showa.
The Showa era, yeah. Like at the end of that, or maybe the beginning of the Heisei era, there was like a movie that had them go back in time and take out like the dinosaur version of Godzilla.
That's
I was reminded of that. I don't know how accurate that is. I've not seen that movie in full, but
that's versus King Ghidorah, I believe, because that's the one where there's a whole time travel thing, and then aliens take over the Earth. It's not a great film. It's more akin to like the second evolution in Shin Godzilla, where like he starts as like a like water-bound creature, but then like comes onto land and like has, you know, little limbs and kind of squirms his way up Tokyo. Not Tokyo. Yeah, Tokyo. I think it's Tokyo. And then eventually goes back into the water because he's overheating. And it kind of reminded me of that, especially with like the atomic breath setup and stuff. But it's probably a combination of a whole different bunch of parts of Godzilla, which, you know, I should probably be more able to point out, considering I did watch every single
honestly
one.
With the way you did that, go listen to that episode if you don't know what we're talking about. But the fact that you got through all those movies in such like a clean sort of streak, I'm not gonna blame you if they all just sort of melded together in your head after like a while.
It's weird, they still have a lot of definition for some reason, but I think it's like each era is kind of clear cut as to which one you're in. But yeah, I also like the what is it, the pistol mantis?
Oh yeah, Hitmonchan.
Hitmonchan, yeah. It shows up and I'm just like, is that fucking Pokemon?
It's funny, looking at its design, it doesn't look like that much like Hitmonchan other than like the boxing thing, but my mind immediately went, that's fucking Hitmonchan.
Yeah. Especially like the movements, the sort of like repeating the same phrase over and over again at first. Which leads to a weird thing where their blood is milk.
Honestly, it was a good enough weirdness that I wanted to see that character more.
Yeah.
I wanted to delve into whatever the hell his story was.
I also find it like weird. There's a whole like they're having that whole conversation where she's like, "Oh, it's that your blood smells familiar," and you know it builds up to it being milk, and then like the Gran is like yeah, well, you know, milk is the blood of cows. And I was watching that like, no, it's not.
I don't think you know exactly how cows work.
It's like, unless I am under a vastly wrong misconception, no, it's not.
Yeah, I think cows still have blood.
Yeah.
Like, that's a thing that they just have.
Because milk is milk, like it is cow milk. It is meant to be drank.
Humans produce milk, but it's not our blood.
Exactly. Like the milk produced by human females and the milk produced by cow females is essentially the same thing. It's meant to serve the same purpose. How we got to the point of going, Let me drink the cow milk instead. I don't know.
Unless you are a vampire, they are not very similar things.
No. It's kind of interesting, like, how little actually kind of happens in these last 5 episodes. It's a lot of action going on, I think, for most of it.
I had this sort of sorry, I just want to get this out there while I remember. I had this sort of revelation near the end where I realized that this feels very much like a slice of life anime that's got like the setup and like it still has action moments. It still has very good like story stuff, but a lot of it feels very slice of life, and it's just it's very much focused on the characters more than the actual plot line more than anything else, which isn't bad. I like that.
Yeah. I'm interested in whether it keeps that up, because a lot of shonen stuff can kind of start that way, and then like as they've built the characters up and they get more into like the actual meat of the plot, then you kind of see it becoming more story focused and more kind of arc based. The arcs get longer and time expands and all this sort of stuff, to the point that, you know, an arc in One Piece that took 4 years to come out actually only happened in the space of like a week or 2 weeks within the story, and I'm like, no, it didn't. But anyway.
Why is it always One Piece, man, when you tell me shit like that?
It's just a good example, because it's the one manga I've been keeping up with for a while now. And it's kind of similar with like My Hero Academia, I guess, is the closest thing I can think to compare this against, where like it starts off with like a lot of these little kind of story arcs with like low stakes goals in mind. Like the first one is the main character Deku needs to train enough to absorb the power that he's gonna take on, and then like the rest of the goals at that point can be seen to him being like figuring out how to use the powers, not decimating his body in the process. Then like it kind of works up to bigger villains and bigger stakes until the point of like the final arc takes, you know, however many years to run in publication, but it only happens over the course of like a few hours realistically, and there's that many characters. It's all very confusing. So I'm curious if they take that approach with Dandadan, whereas I think that wouldn't necessarily fit Dandadan that well. I'd like to see it stay as like a slice of lifey kind of, what's the weirdest moment that we can create for these characters right now?
Yeah. What's the funniest shit we can do in this moment? Is exactly like the philosophy of these episodes, and it's great.
Yeah, like Okarun being completely nude and squeezing him like a fish to propel him through water.
I have to admit, never would have thought of that on my own.
No.
Almost got a good head on her shoulders, I guess.
She's creative at the very least.
Yeah, you know, that's good.
Because as of now, you know, Okarun's got his wiener back, and one ball, and they're currently looking for the other ball.
Yeah, just out there.
Yeah, and I'm kind of curious if like the one ball is gonna be the goal for a while, or if they'll find it and then they'll need to kind of scramble for some new goal in mind, because given Okarun's awkwardness, like as soon as he's, you know, wholly intact, he's gonna think that Momo is gonna be done with him. Their friendship's over. That's it. There's nothing more keeping them, you know, together as friends.
Yeah, because he has such little faith in his own like friendship strength.
Yeah,
even though it's a great friendship.
Yeah. He
really is an awkward fellow after all.
It's one of those things I really appreciate the most about this series, is that it probably handles the whole like two main characters having a crush on each other the best, where they're both extremely awkward about it. They both kind of half realize but don't realize that they like each other, and they kind of want to suss out if the other person does. They have the feeling the other person does, and they kind of want them to admit it first. It's that whole awkwardness I think is captured a lot better than a lot of other manga do.
Yeah, it's very much like high school. It's still definitely anime high school, but there's a very much that awkwardness that high school has, and I think it really helps that they did build up a genuine friendship before like it even hints that Okarun has a crush on her now because he's just realized she's a girl.
Because it's like that part near the end of one of the episodes where like Okarun's going home and she's like hinting at him to like say see you tomorrow or whatever, and it's like that's the and they're both like embarrassed and all that, and I'm like that's the most genuinely real like moment of, you know, be having a crush on someone. Where you just kind of want to extend the moment type thing.
I had this like moment that I have a lot of like shows like this where I'm internally screaming at him to do the thing that she's wanting him to do. Like, just say see you tomorrow, say it with enthusiasm, just do it right, knowing damn well if I was in this situation I would be no better.
He really is an awkward
because I am a hypocrite. And I too am an awkward fellow.
So we also have the introduction of another new character. We've sort of had what's her name? Ira cemented into the extended character list. Which I like that they're kind of playing more into the she's fucking stupid like way of her character going, rather than the other direction it could have gone, which was that she was just an absolute menace.
I think I might have said this like last time, but I love the fact that like they think they're gonna do the tropey thing where she's like the bitchy popular girl or whatever, and she still kind of is that, but like underneath it, she actually is just as fucking weird as the other two. And she's just too stupid to even recognize.
She is that bitchy popular girl, but she's foiled by her own stupidity, and I actually like that play on that trope. But then we have the introduction of Gigi, not Gigi Murin.
No. That's like, every time you say Gigi, I am trying to get that gremlin out of my head.
Gigi, I forget his full name. I know his last name's Emoji or something like that. He's got 2 G's in it. It's basically a fucking JoJo's ass name.
Emoji.
Yeah, he's got a fucking JoJo's ass name.
He's got like a proto JoJo look. He's just missing the proportions.
So he gets introduced, and I think we come to the first character who I don't care how long he's in it for. He could become a main character. I don't think I'm ever gonna like him. He is just the type of character who bugs the shit out of me.
I think you see, the thing is, I hate him, but like I love hating him, so I'm fine if he stays around if I get to hate him more, because he's not like an evil bastard or like a sadistic, but I don't hate him in the sense that I want him to suffer a horrible fate. I just hate him the fact that he's a dick.
Yeah.
Like he's a flamboyant dick, and it's fun to just be like, I hope you get your comeuppance every once in a while, because it's funny.
He's the very kind of like flashy, loud, extrovert character who always always kind of wants to be the center of attention, thinks he's cool, and like, I don't know, that character, it's hard to do right where it doesn't just get under my skin. and every time he talks, I just want to punch him in the face.
I was close to getting there, but after a while, it's just like, you're as much of a joke as the other as the other three. Even the world might take you a bit seriously, but God knows I'm fucking not.
Yeah.
I say that, I don't think the world actually does take him seriously either.
No. Though, everyone in the class, all the girls in the class seem to think he's hot and attractive, and
I don't get that, but like at first, like it's one of Momo's friends that does it, but then after that, she's just like, you're hilarious.
Yeah. He doesn't really get much time right now, which I think is a bit of a shame. He only gets like the sort of being the thorn in the side of the whole, like, capture the, what's it called? I was going to call it automaton, but that's not what I'm thinking.
Yeah, the mannequin.
The mannequin, like, yeah.
Thing.
Anatomical dummy.
I just called him Two-Face.
Yeah. He's the foil, the sort of, like, thorn in the side during that moment, but he doesn't really get much of a role to play right now, which, again, is, I think, kind of comes down to my whole thing of, like, maybe they should have ended sooner. Maybe they should have found a way to pad time and just kind of introduce him as a tease for the next season, because as of right now, he doesn't get much to do. We don't really get to know him super well, other than as, like, a sort of very mundane antagonistic force to Okarun.
Yeah.
Kind
of, sort of, because he switches between, like, being, like, trying to be friends with him at the same time antagonizing him, because he's also still into Momo.
Yeah. Which is... I wasn't sure how they were going to play that. Like... it almost kind of seemed like he was too self-obsessed to be interested in someone else at first. I wasn't sure if they were going to actually, like, play out the whole he's interested in her as well character trait. But no, they're playing that out because the balancing force is that Momo just absolutely cannot stand him.
No, I also feel like I can't even tell if, like, he genuinely is still interested in her. He probably is, but I also can't help escaping the thought that maybe he's just doing it purely to fuck with Okarun.
Yeah, that did cross my mind as well, because they have that conversation kind of near the end of the last episode where he, like, starts teasing him over liking her, and then there's that, like, well, I like her more because I like this aspect of her type thing. And maybe you're right. Maybe it is like a kind of just fucking with Okarun type
Thinking
thing.
about it now, because I've had surprisingly, just randomly, I've had a Futurama in the background of, like, my room. So like one of the things I'm thinking of now is I'm reminded of this one joke where it's basically, oh, I'm a rent-a-bully. I bully you so that you can stand up to me and impress the girl. Like, is that what Okarun's plan is? I can't tell.
Yeah.
I don't think so, but it would be really funny and kind of in character, I think, if he did.
Yeah.
And I will say, when Okarun was actively trying to, like, try and impress Momo and, like, stand up to him, sorta, in the house, I was like, get him! I got you, man.
I like that almost everything Okarun does now, he finds a thing of being like, oh, well, if I do this without Momo seeing me, and I become really good at it, she'll be super impressed, and it's like, dude.
Yeah, it's that teenage thing where you think, if I totally do this, I'll win. I'll win.
If I do the thing, I do it right, and I don't fuck it up, it works. It just works.
Right, the writers will throw me a bone. I got this. Even though that's not how it works.
No, and in
Momo isn't even aware that any of this is happening.
No, and as strange as a series as Dandadan is, like, you just know that however it works out for them is just not gonna be, like, normal. Some weird shit's gonna happen. I also can't wait to possibly end up with Gigi, like, getting spiritual powers or something, like ending up as another person who can transform or something like that.
I kind of really hope that he's the only one that doesn't, just because I feel like that'd be a funnier dynamic.
Yeah,
he's the super self-obsessed, self-important one, even in a different way than Ira is, because she kind of is that, but he's the only one that doesn't get powers, and I feel like that would be really funny.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm completely wrong on that. I feel like I probably am, but it would be really funny.
I think it would be I think it will be interesting to see where they go with that, because, like, obviously Ira kind of only ends up with her powers because she's, like, on death's door. And Acrobat Silky does, like, a bit of a selfless sacrifice there. But there'll be probably some, like, you know, like we say, it's what is the funniest thing that can be done in this moment. And yeah, I'm interested to see. This is my problem with where it's gone, is that it's like all comes down to I want to see what happens next.
Yes.
And currently we can't, because season 2 doesn't come out for another 6 months, basically.
Yeah, at the very least. So,
yeah.
I will say for GG, I am reminded that we've got his sort of following yokai thing that's like staring at him.
Yeah.
Where this plot is going, so I imagine maybe that's where he's gonna get his powers from.
I was trying to figure out like if that was like based on something, and it probably is. But you know, like we've covered yokai on the Halloween episodes and stuff like that before, and it's something I'm kind of interested in. So I was like racking
Shameless plug too.
I was like racking my brain, like, damn, is this a yokai that I can guess sort of like from what its shtick is, what'll happen like with his storyline, but like I didn't recognize it immediately. That's not to say it isn't based on like a real thing.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we haven't gotten too much details of what it really is. Most of what it's done is just basically stare at him menacingly.
Yeah.
In his room.
Which a lot of yokai can be boiled down to, really. I mean, he's just standing there, menacingly.
We did get that sort of really creepy, veiny effect when he was first describing him, but it didn't pop up again after that, and I don't really know what it was about.
Yeah. Because then, like, we only really see him again after when, like, Gigi's sitting in his room, unable to sleep because he's staring at him, which is like, okay, well, just close your eyes.
Yeah, just, you know, stick your head in the sand and he won't be there anymore.
Exactly. Do
what I do in Lethal Company whenever I think the ghost girl is about, and I just move like the computer screen over the door and just be like, if I can't see you, you won't attack me. I see you on the screen dancing, I don't care.
Yeah. It's a fun show. And I'm really looking forward to season 2. And hopefully it continues like the quality that it's set up from season 1. Like that's something that's been impressive, is that like a lot of shows that air week to week, kind of you'll see the first couple episodes maybe stand out quality wise, and then things just kind of not go downhill. That's a rare exception. But like kind of standardize during the middle portions, and then maybe the last episode is like an all-out, you know, another impressive piece of work. But like Dandadan's pretty solid throughout. Like even in the mundane stuff, they're putting in a higher amount of effort than like a lot of series do. So yeah, I mean, we've been recording for about 30 minutes already. So,
oh, wow, really?
Yeah.
That feels so fast.
I know. Last time kind of felt like we were struggling and grasping for things to say to get us to a reasonable length, whereas now it's like, I think we've covered a fairly decent amount of what comes up in the last few episodes and the setup for season 2.
Only problem with these batch of episodes, not enough Turbo Granny.
Not enough No, yeah. I do appreciate the one background moment where she just fully launches at Gigi and starts beating the shit out of him.
Strike!
So that's just sitting there going, get him! Get him!
Get him! Get him!
Get him!
Turbo Granny. We've got a lot of the grandma, though. That was not the other grandma.
Yeah,
it's the actual grandma.
I forget her name.
Same.
Yeah, baseball bat grand.
She's still insane. I can see where Momo gets it from.
There is a little interesting thing where, like, randomly, whilst Gigi and Momo are talking in the kitchen, and like the Gran brings up like, oh well, you need to go and exercise this house and blah blah blah. Gigi happens to say the line, "Why are you calling Auntie Grandma?" And I thought, and I'm like, is this gonna lead to another storyline later?
like an implication. I took note of that too, and it made my brain think. But I don't want to theorize too much, otherwise I'm completely wrong.
Yeah, because like it's just a throwaway thing right now. Like we have nothing else to go on. Everything else that we know,
they could completely disregard it, like
immediately,
and just never bring it up again.
Because like there's also that weird thing where it's like, oh well, aren't Gigi and Momo related? And she's kind of like, no, but at the same time, I don't know if that's meant to be the case. Like, are they cousins or something?
I did get a lot of cousin dynamic, but it was weird because they kept saying first love, and I was like,
yeah.
What is the implication here?
Yeah, that was my concern.
What did they mean by this?
Maybe it's all just an elaborate ruse to fuck with Okarun.
Or the audience.
It
feels like this is the kind of show just to do that to the audience.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Affectionate, by the way.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess we'll just kind of call it here.
Another smaller one. We're nearing the end of our winter batch where things have got fucky.
Yeah.
Scheduling.
We should be back to normal by the end of February, kind of in terms of like episodes and recordings and stuff like that. Where like for the audience anyway, for us, it's probably going to go back to normal in like a couple of weeks once we hit February time. December, January are always funny because like we should really prepare more in advance for them, but like we never do.
Absolutely, yeah. But you know, stuff keeps happening, and we're not the most proactive on that sort of stuff.
No,
we really should be, but we're not.
Yeah,
we're sorry.
So yeah, you can look forward to, if you're listening to this as it comes out, you can look forward to this being like an EX episode that comes out like just before season 2 goes up, because like, you know, gotta try and get on in that prime.
That's another slot filled.
Probably not an actual slot, probably put that out on like a Wednesday or something like that, but gotta try and coincide it with when the searchability is just right. But yeah, thank you guys for listening to this. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed. I guess we should score it. We are at the end here, so we should probably score it, given that's our usual MO.
I almost forgot.
Yeah. I'm sitting around an 8 or a 9. I think
I'm the same.
It probably could have been a 10, but that last kind of like part where it just stops does bring it down a touch, and there's a couple of moments where I'm like, we didn't really need that. We could have sidestepped.
That's what's pushing it to an 8 for me instead of like a 9. Like there's a lot of really good stuff there, but there is the occasional moment I was like, you didn't need that.
Yeah,
you didn't need. I don't feel like it would have been lesser if you didn't include that. So
yeah, so there we are. That's Dandadan season 1. I'm sure we will not get to season 2 in a timely manner whatsoever.
We will get on that as fast as we've gotten on to Oshinoko season 2.
God, yeah, that's another thing hanging over our heads, isn't it? Is we haven't.
I can sense it, and it keeps calling to me every time. This is such a specific thing. Every time I look up for like a GIF to like react in like the Discord server that we usually talk in, I see multiple Oshinoko ones all the time. And I'm like, oh, I want to watch it, but I can't.
I do want to get onto season 2. It's fitting it in with like our schedule and all that sort of stuff. So, but yeah, we'll see you guys next week, where I actually have no idea what we're going to be talking about. But then
we'll find out.
Yes, but you do have Eva at the end of the month to look forward to, so there's that. But yeah, bye.
Bye.